Welcome Star Wars Unlimited fans. Today on the channel we're taking a look at turn 1 resourcing, early stage gameplay in the IG-88 aggression deck, and also Boba Fett setting himself up for a long-term battle. Let's dive in. Here in our hand we have a 4-cost space unit, a 1-cost event, several 2-cost ground units, a 1-cost ground unit, and a 3-cost ground unit. These all pair up nicely with our base Tarkin Town, which enables us to deal 3 damage to a non-leader unit that has already been damaged, and then our leader IG-88, who enables us to be stronger on the offense when we have more units on the board than our opponent. So the fact that we've drawn quite a few units in our opening hand does mean that we could get the board advantage pretty early on. This is Boba Fett's command center on the Death Star, and here is Boba Fett the leader. His main abilities is enabling resources to be readied when they've been spent previously, so he can do more and more each turn. 2 big units here, an 8-cost ground unit and a 7-cost ground unit. He will have multiples of those in his deck. Boba Fett's armor and resupply essential opening cards for that deck, and a couple of 1-cost Greedos who are unique, so they can't both come out at the same time. The decision process here is to keep the space unit. Can't play it right away, but it will be useful if you don't want to be without space. The event card enables us to do some clever trickery, so we will get rid of the 3-cost unit, which we can't play right away, and in all likelihood we won't have initiative next turn because we'll be doing more things on our opening turn here. And Boba Command also went into the resource pile because her main ability isn't really useful until late in the game. Now we have our leader paired with our event, so we can land that on an enemy unit, which we'll be using on our second turn, possibly, to get them to attack us if we wish. And we also have a 1-cost ground unit. Now ideally we don't want to attack with this unless there is a sentinel in the way, so it's a card we might actually hold on to in our hand until the sentinel appears. First Legion Snowtrooper, yes, we want to get him down. Good solid 2-cost card, and if we can use our event card to ping some damage onto something, he will get his +2 and overwhelm. And then our space unit, which is basically just going to sit in our hand until we can get to play a space unit, but we'll probably kill whatever tiny unit is on the board when we... The Boba Fett resourcing decision is a lot easier to make because we need that resupply to play on our second turn, which gets us to a turn 3 deployment of Boba Fett, our leader, at which point we're going to put his armor on him, making him absolutely formidable and just so difficult to deal with. He's just enormous at that stage. We're already fancying ourselves for the win. One of the Greedos has gone in resource. As you'll see on there, they're a unique card, and we can only have one of them on the board at the same time. Bit of a dice toss between Darth Vader and the Reinforcement Walker. I opted for Reinforcement Walker because of our opening hand there. It really feels like we're going to be in a strong position to just dominate the board, and hopefully we won't need to be bailed out of jail by the Reinforcement Walker and its healing abilities. So this will leave us with our opening hand. Boba Fett, we can save, hold on to the armor so that we can play that onto him when he deploys. Hopefully the opponent does not destroy it from our hand somehow. Resupply our essential turn 2 play, which is going to boost our resources and bring us quickly to the 5 resources we need to control in order to deploy our leader. Greedo, he'll be our turn 1 play. He's got a nice high attack score, so most cards that our opponent will have out early on, we could probably be killed by him on our next turn if we wanted to attack. And then Vader. Quite common when you're facing a Boba Fett deck, there will be an early cheap card that has a high attack score and very low health. If it makes it to the board, we could use our 1-cost event just to delete it right away So I would be favouring putting down our 1-cost ground unit to hold some space. If he doesn't die on this turn, we can perhaps use the event to kill whatever comes, and if he does hold his ground, we are still clearing the board the other side, which gives us the benefit of numbers going into round 2, and numbers is key to triggering our leader's ability to increase our attacking lethality. The Boba Fett pilot now knows that we have a unit on the board, does not have an ambush card in hand, which might commonly be seen with the Cloud Rider, also a cheap unit to use with attack 3, health of 1. Had he had that in hand, probably would have played that and cleared our card off the board. However, you're going to have to put something down here, and that's the only one that we can actively play. We could afford Fett's armor, but we've got nothing to put it on. So, and also we need to hold on to that until our Boba Fett does eventually reach the board. Our IG-88 opening play certainly has paid off here, because we now have a 1-cost event card active and available to us that we can play, which will delete Greedo from the board and stop him from being able to wreak havoc on the next turn. Also leaves us with 1 unit on the board, Boba Fett with none, and then we have the power in numbers that we need to begin overwhelming him in the second turn. Very little here for Boba Fett to do but claim the initiative and take advantage in the next turn by acting first. Boba Fett has drawn a second Darth Vader and a hotshot laser blaster from the card draw this time, and we're scanning our hand just to see which card we think we might be resourcing. Two really to consider here is the hotshot laser blaster, which we can bring in from smuggle, and it makes it active for attack on a unit. We're not going to have a unit in play for a while, it seems, so there's not much point resourcing that right now. We have 2 Darth Vaders at 7, a very high cost card, and they're uniques, so we're not going to be able to play both of those at the same time. I decided here to resource that one, knowing that now all of our energy really is going into the Boba Fett deploy and getting his armor onto him as soon as possible and wreaking havoc possibly with that hotshot laser blaster. An interesting 2-card draw for IG-88. We have a disabling Fang Fighter ship unit, which when played can remove an upgrade against Boba Fett. We need this in hand. As soon as that armor goes onto him, we deploy that ship and the armor goes bye bye. It's not the card you were looking for. We also have Emperor Palpatine. Ordinarily, I would be thinking get him in resource because he's a long way off. But I only have 2 of him in this deck build, so I don't really want to be losing him right now. And I know that my very first ship play is going to be the Fang Fighter. I don't need this ship right away, and I do want my small units to get on the ground to keep my numbers up and keep me ahead of Boba Fett in terms of units, which means I can keep using my leader ability to make them stronger. What happened thereafter is that we got to 8 resources on the IG-88 side and managed to deploy Emperor Palpatine. Everything had been going well. Boba Fett deployed, IG-8 countered and knocked off the armor. There were lots of battle wranglings going on, and IG-88 was consistently landing damage to the base. And then Boba Fett, the machine with Bazine, was able to control some of the gameplay. He got into space and dominated there, and eventually brought out another walker with its healing abilities and started to bring health back to the base, and essentially left IG-88 massively outgunned. And from this point onwards, it was just Boba landing damage turn after turn after turn. A real shame, because IG-88 started out strong with that aggression, just couldn't keep the board, particularly with a Darth Vader deploy partway through, and just brought the numbers back to Boba's side. Thanks for watching, Star Wars Unlimited fans. If you like this breakdown and want more tips to level up your game, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest strategies. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update. May the force be with you. These are not the cards you're looking for.